Greetings, people. A few months ago, like 5-6 months ago, we talked about the deep brain chain and DeepLink and everything that they've been working on. In short, all these different things over here, all the different narratives when it comes to real-world assets, DeepIn, decentralized physical infrastructure networks, and AI, all with a cloud GameFi platform. Which means, for example, if you looked into gaming recently and you've seen Black Myth Wukong, you can play it on Android with what they offer. So they do the entire cloud gaming thing, in which any type of machine can access their software, which acts as this whole cloud gaming platform that then allows you, on your end, to play all these things. There's pretty much no latency, there's like 1 millisecond, they have 244 Hz, 8K resolution, all the good things. And now, besides their public sale, which is in phase 5 so far, they sold over $4.5 million already in tokens in the last 4 phases, and there's phase 5 right now. And most importantly for us, there are notes, which is what we mostly cover. Now, over the past 20 something minutes, I already recorded this video and I forgot to turn on my microphone, so there's that. So let me give you the rundown yet again. Links to everything down below. You know, it's not financial advice, but let me tell you where the notes are pretty cool. The first 6 tiers of notes, which should be live right now when you see this video, or should be live eventually, cost between $30 and $89. Which makes them cheap, but there are also 120,000 available. The important thing is, their token, which will go live at 0.3 cents each during TGE, it is coming fairly soon. That price means, per note that you purchase, you get $90 worth of tokens in airdrops. So the first 6 tiers of notes are basically free. Because if you spend $89, but you get $90 back in the token, then the note is free, and then you can operate that, for which you get 100,000 tokens minimum over the lifetime of these notes, which makes for a pretty good profit. Now, before we go more into detail on all these notes, if you want to just get one right away, link them below, let me tell you some more things about what they are doing. The team behind it started working with cloud gaming. Even back in 2011, they have people that came from Cisco, which at some point was, I think, the biggest company in the world, or at least when it comes to shareholder value, the biggest one, Intel, Nvidia, and more. And since then, they've been working on something that actually has a use case. When it comes to most things in crypto, the idea is good, but people don't actively use it. When it comes to gaming, especially, and people having access to high computing power to play the newest games, when I would like to play any of the new games, let's say Black Myth Wukong because it just came out, right? If I want to play that, I can't. At least I can't play it on my laptop. I can play it on my current computer because I got a 4080, but that's about it. If I wanted to play it on any computer that is older than 3 or 4 years, this is going to look bad, it's going to lag, it's not going to be enjoyable. But with cloud computing, a different computer or an entire server, a whole network, can do all the computing stuff and just send me the image over here so I can then enjoy the game as well. And if you think about internet cafes, for example in Korea there's PC Bang, which are these huge cafes in which people mainly play League of Legends because you get all the champions and skins unlocked, but also go regularly just to play games. All of these computers eventually would be outdated, but with cloud computing, they aren't. So it makes more sense for them. Besides that, they raised over $9 million in early investments, and they get over 1.6 million users from over 110 different countries. They will go to multiple tier 1 exchanges in 2024, and we are already in September. So in the next couple months with TGE, real-life applications, massive market strategy, there's going to be a big community airdrop as well, and a lot more over time. If we look at the current market conditions, once Bitcoin stops being boring and it goes out of this whole up and down cycle of up and down and up and down and up and down, and it finally breaks out, then all the different categories that are hyped up here already, which include AI, gaming, real-world assets, they're easily going to do a 10 to 20x, if not more. This whole market is worth like $20 billion right now, while gaming itself is worth a couple trillion, I think. I think a recent statistic that I saw somewhere was like 800 billion and more in revenue in 2021. And since then, it has been some time. And then in their case, they sell a couple nodes right now in order to help with the increasing demand when it comes to computing powers. 12% of the entire token supply, which we see in this graphic down here, is going to be reserved for nodes with a price of 0.3 cents per token at launch. About 7.5% of the tokens will be unlocked, and pretty much everything in here has a vesting schedule to it, so they don't just flood the market and everybody dumps. Whole supply is 100 billion. As far as I know, there will be 12% that is reserved for node operators. And the nodes come in 2 ways that you can operate them. There is one for CPU traffic, and there's one for GPU computing. Which means if you have a 20, 30, or 40 series in NVIDIA GPUs, with the exact details down here as well, you are eligible in order to mine tokens. Now, nobody else can mine tokens. You have to buy the node to mine the tokens. And there will be the additional reward if you buy a node. So technically, the first 6 tiers in here between $30 and $89 are free simply because of the amount of tokens you get, plus the additional tokens you farm over time. And don't forget that KYC is required at checkout when you buy a node, so go through a couple different steps and then you can buy one. When it came to the schedule of token release, which was talked about somewhere here in the details, they mentioned that the reward for the first 4 years is 1.5 billion tokens per year. So half of all the tokens that will be dropped for node operators, 12 billion total, 6 billion will be released over the next 4 years. And that's the first half. And then there's going to be halving, and then it will be 3 billion tokens over the next 4 years after. So this is going to be here for the next decades, you could say. A long, long time. When it comes to the free money that we get in the token, that begins before the listing on the tier 1 exchanges, with 20% being unlocked immediately and 80% over 8 months. Nodes cannot be resold to others before October 31st, which means on November 1st, as they're minted as an NFT to your wallet, right? They're issued over here. It will mean that you can sell them if you don't like them, which is a pretty good feature as well. If mining doesn't start in the first 10 days, there are additional airdrops and rewards for you. So in case something goes wrong or they can't deliver on their promise, there are additional tokens that you get for free. And it's always good to have a backup strategy. Now, if you want to buy 1,000 nodes at once, so $30,000 plus, you'll be provided with a full list of support for operating the nodes. But if you just want to buy 1 or 10 or 50, you can do so in 2 different ways. You can use USDT, but you can also use the DeepBrain token and get a 5% discount. Which also means, because people probably want to use the discount feature, that the volume for this and the demand as well as market cap is going to increase quite a lot when the node sale is officially live. Now, the output per node, how many tokens it's going to generate with 100,000 minimum, that is correlated to how many nodes are sold total, which means if only 10% of these get sold and they stop at 12,000 instead of 120,000 nodes, then we get 10x the usual tokens. In quick maths, 12 billion tokens for the nodes, 120k times 100k should be 12 billion. So depending on the ratio of nodes sold to total tokens, we might get a lot more. Now, in case you don't want to run the nodes yourself and you don't want to use the software, you can also use virtual servers. There are enough node providers out there that do NaaS, nodes as a service, that operate them for you. The price should be around $10 a month or so. And because the requirements aren't that high, you will only pay like a small percentage of your rewards in order to rent the server. But then again, you can also run it yourself. That is up to you. Now, if you want to learn more about them, there are lots of videos on DeepLink and DeepBrain. For example, there are a couple good videos by Fire Hustle about it, in which he talks about everything in detail. You can simply Google it. You can go through their Twitter, see all the announcements, all the events that they participate in, all the meetups that they're going to be part of, read the white paper and a lot more. There are probably hours of content to this if you just click around on the website and go through the different areas that they have up here. But the main point is still, if you buy any of the first 6 tiers and nodes, the airdrop alone pays for them, so this is kind of free. Personally, when I get everything in here set up and I get enough DBC tokens, I'll probably buy about like 50 to 100 nodes, give or take. But that also depends a little on the market conditions, because if this one stops having a frowny face and it goes up in value and pulls the rest of the market up and we get more capital available, then we might as well get a couple more. Now again, they're going to be listed on multiple tier 1 exchanges, and they announced that the token generative event, TGE, is going to happen fairly soon. And that's a lot of pretty good things to me. And for that, I'm gonna say I like it. Also, they retweeted this one over here by BitChat. So, you know, is that a hint? I think it's pretty obvious that's a hint. Links down below. You know it's not financial advice. And I will see you fairly soon.